Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here at the First Alert Desk. My name's Carly Barnett. We want to give you a look at some of the stories that we are following for your Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We are starting off a new week, and in just a few minutes, we're going to have First Alert meteorologist Patrick Pete joining us. He's going to tell you about your forecast to help you plan your week. A little sneak peek, though, I do know those temperatures are going to be sneaking right back up for us. I see some people joining us now. Hey, guys, thanks for watching. And so now we want to get into what's going on here in Metro Atlanta. Quick programming note, we want to remind you can join us tonight at 10 on Peachtree TV and 11 on WANF. You can watch that wherever you stream, and of course, the news is always on AtlantaNewsFirst.com and our Atlanta News First app. So we have a busy time here in Metro Atlanta. Former President Trump is in town, actually attended 2 rallies today here in Georgia. You may see that one of those is still going on right now. We had our reporter Abby Kasouris attend one of them. Our other reporter Madeline Montgomery is going to be at the other. She will have a full breakdown for you tonight at 11. But in the meantime, I do want to break down what we know so far. So this was the first one held earlier today in Powder Springs. This was at Worship with Wonders Church, and Trump was scheduled to speak from the inaugural National Faith Advisory Board Summit. I took a look at their website. It says their goal is to, quote, educate and equip fellow believers on the most important issues affecting our nation. Hundreds of supporters, we were told, was there. He spoke first at this church in Powder Springs, and then he eventually made his way to Midtown Atlanta. Now, the video that we have loaded up here and ready to go is actually before the former president took to the stage, but this is at McCamish Pavilion at Georgia Tech, and that is where he's actually still speaking now, and this is his second visit to Georgia within the week, as both candidates targeting battleground states. We know all eyes are on Georgia right now, and on the other side of the coin, we know Vice President Kamala Harris. Whoop. Let me see if I can get my video to play for you here. That's the video I want. All right, so Vice President Kamala Harris, she was in Michigan today. Her trip there focused on the economy, manufacturing jobs specifically. Now, as far as Atlanta goes, we do know former First Lady Michelle Obama will be headlining a rally in Atlanta tomorrow. We told other celebrities and civic leaders will be there, and the priority is on engaging younger voters and first-time voters. This is going to be hosted by When We All Vote, which is a nonpartisan civic engagement group that Obama founded in 2018 to change the culture, they say, around voting, and maybe reach out to people who are less likely to engage in politics and elections. Actually, we do have a new CBS poll that shows the 2 presidential candidates are virtually tied in the battleground states. Of course, Georgia being one of those states. And all eyes are soon going to be on election night. The countdown is on. I mean, this is the crunch time, so to speak, right? This is the crunch time for what ultimately will happen and who will be the new president here in the United States. I want to take you out here to some other news. This is out of Coweta County. There is a manhunt going on right now as investigators are searching for a suspect. They say that a woman was robbed, or her car was stolen at gunpoint, and they say that they have taken one of the suspects into custody. They are now looking for the other one. So I want to go ahead and show you these images from the Coweta County Sheriff's Office. They provided us these images. I know it might be a little bit hard to see, but they say they are looking for this man who they say carjacked a woman at gunpoint, leading police on a chase. They say this person that you see here, do not approach him, but if you see him or know where he could be, you are urged to call 911. He was last seen wearing a black hoodie and light-colored shorts and light-colored shoes. So we also have some video from our First Alert chopper with how all this started. You can see this large police scene near a wooded area. So investigators say It began on Hyde Circle in Noonan. A woman reported that two men approached her with guns and stole her car. When deputies spotted that car, they say instead of pulling over, the driver just took off. Eventually, deputies performed a pit maneuver, but that's when they say the two suspects then took off on foot at Laura Smith Road, running into the woods there. That's the scene that you're looking at there. One of those individuals, law enforcement says, was a juvenile, was located and apprehended. They say the other suspect is out there tonight. Again, taking you back to this picture here. If you have any idea who this person could be, again, you are told not to approach him, but to call 911. And that manhunt, as of right now, we do know is still taking place tonight in the Coweta County area. This is a trial that has gotten quite a lot of attention. And just a reminder, if you want to know more about the YSL trial, this is the trial involving rapper Young Thug and his alleged ties to criminal street gang activity. We are streaming that for you, gavel to gavel. You can watch that on ANF Plus. How do you do that? Well, you can watch it where you're watching us here. You can watch it through YouTube, Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, etc. And it is constant developments all the time. If you want to read a little bit more about it, you can always look it up on atlantanewsfirst.com. We've done extensive coverage, but really a lot of stuff is hanging in the balance today because there has still been no decision on these mistrial motions that were put forward the other week. So this is the state's longest running trial. Prosecutors, as we said, trying to connect the rapper to a street gang. Court was set to resume at 9 a.m. today, but instead, our reporting team was asked to stay in the media room while the attorneys spoke privately. We are told from our reporter, Chelsea Bimeford, that there's speculation plea deals could be being worked out behind these closed doors, but lawyers for Young Thug and his 5 co-defendants have not confirmed that. The defendants are facing a series of racketeering and organized crime charges. As we mentioned, prosecutors saying YSL is a street gang. The defense argues it's just the name of his record label. This trial, if you can believe it, started nearly a year ago, but it was after a misstep by the state during witness testimony last week. That's how all this started. Young Thug and his co-defendants could ultimately walk free. We don't know that yet. That's what we're waiting to find out. It's had a lot of twists and turns here, but last Wednesday, the courtroom turned to chaos when a witness on the stand accidentally read the hashtag #FreeQuay from an unredacted exhibit, and that is where those mistrial motions came into play. So defense attorneys asking for a mistrial, which the judge is considering, but we still don't know any answers on this yet. Court is scheduled to resume at 9:30 tomorrow morning. All parties involved have been very tight-lipped about what is happening here. So again, a lot is riding on a decision that could be taking place here. This next story, this is a very disturbing story from our reporter, Adam Murphy. It is a South Georgia funeral home director now behind bars tonight after investigators say they found more than a dozen decomposing bodies inside of his business. Again, our reporter, Adam Murphy, he is from the Secretary of State's office who actually oversees these funeral homes, and he has more details on this.
39-year-old Chris Johnson faces multiple criminal charges following a disturbing discovery at the funeral home he operated in Coweta County, 3.5 hours south of Atlanta.
It's obviously a terrible case.
Gabe Sterling is Chief Operating Officer for the Georgia Secretary of State's office, which provides administrative support for the State Funeral Board.
His license lapsed for a period of time this year. He reinstated his funeral director's license and his embalmer's license. The facility license was still not renewed.
According to the GBI, Coweta County deputies discovered 18 bodies in various stages of decomposition while serving an eviction notice at the business a couple of days ago. Investigators say the official charges against Johnson are 17 counts of abuse of a dead body.
The whole situation is disgusting.
Angela Howe lives near Johnson Funeral and Cremation Services and is unsure if her loved one has been impacted.
And I hate the thought of my dad being there. And I pray he's not. He wasn't. But if he was, I'd rather it be him than a child.
Atlanta News First has learned that Johnson ran unsuccessfully to become the Coffee County coroner this year. Plus, his business was not a member of the Georgia Funeral Directors Association.
There's a standard of care that has to be met regardless. These are people's human remains, so you have to respect the dignity of them.
A GBI spokesperson told me it's unclear how many families have been impacted by this incident, but they are continuing to investigate and get to the bottom of it. Outside the Secretary of State's office in downtown Atlanta, Adam Murphy, Atlanta News First.
All right, I know I have thrown a lot at you this evening. We have talked about election news. We have talked about crime news, a manhunt currently underway. We've talked about long-going state trial, and I do want to end on a somewhat positive note here. Of course, the Appalachia high school community still mourning the tragic 4 losses that took place when a mass shooting took place within the walls of that high school. But today, teacher David Phoenix, you can see him there in the green sweater, it's a step toward healing because he went and visited his class today. He was one of the teachers who was shot and wounded on September 4th. This happening, of course, in Barrow County. The school says David Phoenix, one of the teachers who was shot that day, came to visit his students. Phoenix had previously thanked a math teacher who he says put pressure on his wound while helping to calm down his students. 4 people died at Appalachia High School that day, 2 students and 2 teachers. Phoenix was shot in the hip and the foot. He was one of the 9 people injured. You'll remember it was just this weekend. There was a benefit concert from the performer Jelly Roll that took place at Jug Tavern Park. So again, we know this community is still in mourning, still healing. But one piece of good news, we know that teacher David Phoenix is healing and wanted to come and encourage his students, encourage his class, and let them know that he was doing well and he was there to support them. Let's go ahead and take you outside. We're looking live over Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. And we want to know what our weather is going to be doing because we have First Alert meteorologist Patrick Pete here. And Patrick, we have had cold, we have had heat, we are kind of chilly again. Where do we go from here?
We continue this roller coaster, Carly. We always talk about fall being a transition season, and that is very much true. We are transitioning essentially from summer into winter, and fall is the period in between. You're going to get waves of warmth, waves of cool, and that's only going to get a little bit more turbulent as we head through the next couple of months. So good evening to everyone. I hope y'all are having a fantastic Monday. Monday's the hardest day of the week for most of us because, getting back to work. Let's see if we can get some of these graphics up. It should only take about 10 seconds, and we will be able to rock and roll. There we go. One more thing, just to make this nice and pretty. Cool thing about this desk is that we get to kind of be mini producers, which is fun, but also it is time consuming. There we go. Now we have a label. So good evening to everyone that's joining us on YouTube, everyone that is joining us on the stream at home on ANF Plus. Let's dive into this forecast. I won't keep you long because I'm going to give you what you need to go so that you can move on with it. Temperatures in the low to mid-60s across the metro. A little bit cooler in the North Georgia mountains where we've already dipped to the upper 50s, and that will continue to be a cooling trend as we head through the next few hours. Expecting morning lows inside of the perimeter to be in the low to mid-50s. And it's always a little bit warmer. We're going with 55, but 52 in places like Roswell and Villa Rica, Dallas, 53 for the start of the day in Cartersville, 51 in Canton. If you were looking for rain, there's just not much of it in the forecast. We've been having this conversation for a couple of days here. We are watching another front that's going to push through the region, bringing a chance of some spotty showers, but everybody's not going to get it. I'm going to dive into which areas I do think we'll get some rain as we approach the weekend. Tomorrow, more sunshine, especially as we head into the second half of the day, and that should allow for those temperatures to gradually rebound. I think that we're in the upper 60s around lunchtime, and by 3 o'clock, we're in the low 70s, and we'll spend the bulk of the afternoon there forecasting a high of 74 for us here in Atlanta. A gorgeous day with mild temperatures through the overnight. I expect us to only dip into the lower 60s to kickstart the day on Wednesday. So a better start to the morning. That's going to transition to a better afternoon where we get some breaks in the clouds and we get temps back into the upper 70s. So well above average. We should be at about 71 this time of year. I think most of us will be near 80 degrees, just a little bit shy of it by a degree or two across most of the metro. But as we approach Halloween, temperatures will be near 80 area-wide. We're forecasting 80 here in Atlanta, same for folks in Covington and LaGrange and Rome, 79 for an afternoon high in Athens. Just a real gorgeous day. And when you have a warm afternoon like that, that means that the evening is going to be nice and comfortable as well. I know a lot of y'all are getting ready to go trick-or-treating, and that trick-or-treating forecast is looking pretty sweet. 79 degrees at 5 p.m. for the trunk-or-treaters. For everyone that's stepping out around 7, 8 o'clock, we're still in the mid-70s, and we're dipping into the upper 60s by 9, but still pretty nice. So I don't think you're going to need to have any sleeves for any of your Halloween plans. I think it's going to be a gorgeous day. We're warm, partly cloudy, and dry, and that's going to take us into Friday, which Friday is the day that we have that 20% chance of seeing showers. See how you see scattered rain all ahead of that cold front Thursday afternoon? Yeah. Let's take a look at what happens as that front pushes into our area. We lose a whole lot of that moisture, so we're not expecting widespread rain. This is going to be a spotty rain opportunity at best. The boundary kind of dissipates and stalls out, and we're dealing with lingering cloud cover along that boundary, but rain just not making a real appearance in a measurable way in this 7-day forecast. We'll get some sunshine by Sunday, and things trend back warmer by Monday. So it's all about the temperatures, which we're on the ride up here. Temperatures headed into the upper 70s, near 80 degrees through the end of the work week, and then we cool down a little bit. Sunday is looking interesting. Could be a day like today where we get an east breeze and some lingering cloud cover, and temperatures trend cooler. For now, we're just going to roll with 75, but that's something we'll fine-tune over the course of the next few days. We are also keeping an eye on the tropics where we have no named storms out there, but we are watching the Caribbean because there's about a 40% chance that we could get some development over the course of the next week. And I figured I could show you an in-house model just to make it a little interesting. Expecting nothing over the course of the next few days. As we head towards Sunday, we're going to be looking for a very tight, small circle. And if you can get two of those little circles, two of those squiggly lines to make a circle, the tighter the circle, typically the lower the pressure. And we're going to be watching for this to kind of develop Sunday. Over the course of Monday, Tuesday, this could eventually make its way into the open Atlantic. Right now, this isn't a concern for us, but we'll be watching some of the Caribbean communities because they could be impacted by a tropical depression right now. At best is what it's looking like that could be, but still several days away. We're talking about, November 5th, November 6th. We'll stay on top of this, and if any of that changes, we'll be the first to let you know. Alrighty, so it has been a fantastic Monday update. Meteorologist Fred Compagni's in tonight. He's going to be giving you guys a last look at the forecast. He's also going to have some new data on that Sunday forecast. He'll be breaking that down for you at 10 o'clock on Peachtree TV and 11 on Atlanta News First. So you have a fantastic evening, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow, same time, same place.